there's some Revelator songs that I'm like, man, we got to bring those back. But we've done so many songs and albums. There's like so much to choose from that I guess we don't think about it all the time.
We need to get you a really good slide player in Nashville, and you guys need to cover a Derek Truck song.
You know, he told me Susan wrote the song, which he was proud of. He said that with great pride, you know, the way you say nice things about your family.
From the first note with Tedeschi trucks, they just blow you away.
Yes, we will. I wouldn't argue with anyone that says that could be my favorite song on I Am the Moon.
He, signs my ticket, and I look over at Susan. I say, Susan, would you sign it too? And she goes, oh, heck yeah.
Kevin calls me and was like, hey, man, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. He was like, Derek wants to record some tuba stuff. I say, when do you want to do it? And he was like, let's do it Wednesday.
It's Midnight Harlem. And it caught our attention, man. And we started diving deep, and we're like, okay, we got to see these guys.
What's up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 181, and I am Adam Choit. To follow the show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe on YouTube if you're watching. Subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on as well. I'll be putting out an audio version of this episode as well. Get that out later tonight, tomorrow. We're on Odyssey, iHeartRadio as well if you listen to podcasts on those platforms. Patreon.com/TTB podcast if you want to support. That is definitely appreciated. TTB podcast. That's patreon.com/TTB podcast. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, and Marion for supporting. That is definitely appreciated. TTB had their final two shows of the year as all 12, as Susan mentioned on the Nug stream and live, of course, at the Fox. What was that? 15th and 16th. Today's the 17th. So supposedly, according to the website, we have quite a bit of time off until the next shows in May, into May next year, I believe. But let's recap these last ones. I'll do a year-end recap, I'm sure. But without further ado, let's bring back in David Flamm and newcomer Don Baker, who were at the Fox this past weekend. What's up, guys?
Doing all right.
There they are.
Weekend of music.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's start with Don. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your musical journey and background as a fan, and how you got into TTB?
Just heard Midnight on the radio, 2016, 2017, and my wife heard it, and she found tickets to Memphis. We live just south of Tupelo in Mississippi. And so we went to the Orpheum Theater, saw them with the North Mississippi All-Stars. And then, fortunately, they played that song that night. I had no concept that they had such a large number of songs that they play. I saw they played 149 different songs this year.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, and so since then, we've tried to see them at least once a year. We've had an opportunity to see them 3 nights. We've got to see them. We got to see him in February 2020 in Nashville. And,
nice.
Last shows they did before lockdown. And then since then, at least once a year. And then this year, just lucked out and got a chance to see him twice. 2 fantastic shows this weekend.
Oh, yeah. And thank God they were streaming on Nugs, and I was able to catch them as well. Yeah, that's a handful of people's TTB origin stories, is just hearing Midnight in Harlem. That just did it for people. I guess that's a TTB pun too, but the Midnight in Harlem, whether it's just hearing it on the radio or catching the YouTube, the Eric Clapton Crossroads when they played it there, that was also a big moment where fans were won over or discovered TTB as well. And you said you're in Mississippi right now. You're about 5
That's
hours
right.
from Atlanta.
About 5 hours from Atlanta, just south of Tupelo.
Nice. So that was a long drive for not around the corner.
Well worth it.
Oh yeah. And how are you doing, David?
I'm doing great. I said my voice is about shot from a incredible weekend, and it's seen them so many times. It's kind of nice to see them in our hometown. Atlanta's home for Ann and I, and I was so proud of the Atlanta crowd. I thought they were amazing this weekend, especially Saturday night. It was, and we'll talk about it later, but I was able to even get a little feedback from some of the crew in the band, and they said they really felt just a real electricity from the crowd Saturday night, and it was what a great weekend. So proud of the Atlanta peeps, and it was great to see Don. I didn't know Don was in town for the show. Where did we first meet, Don? Where show was that we met?
I feel like it was probably in Nashville at the Ryman, one of those shows.
It was at the Ryman?
Yeah, probably like 2019. Yeah, down the very front row.
Did we see each other during the an outdoor show also during COVID?
We sure did. We sure did up in Huntsville.
In Huntsville, that's right. I remember that too. Yeah, yeah. Don is I don't know how many shows he's seen, but he's a tremendous fan, and he's a great advocate of the Swamp family. He's trading stuff with folks and getting people involved, and he's just a great ambassador of what the TTB family is all about. So I'm excited to share the show with Don tonight. He's awesome.
Well, this was shows 12 and 13 for us. So.
Yeah, so the Swamp family is so nice. Like this fan community, it's such I think the togetherness and and I think it's partly because of the app, the actual Swamp family app, and just like more integration with the band and the fans and all that. Like people mail me stuff. I got a bunch of chips and cups and tea, and like people sending me stuff just like I'm not even asking, and I definitely appreciate it. It's interesting that you mentioned the fans at the show, because on the Nug stream you could really hear the fans coming through the audio as well, which I like. I love to hear the fans coming through when I'm watching either sports live or a live concert, because that's the whole point of watching a live event. You could hear, I hate when I'm watching sports and all you hear is like the broadcasters and it's basically silent other than that. But the mix was great, not just of the band, but you could hear the fans, and not just like cheering and clapping. You could hear, when Susan would start singing, or Alicia, you could hear the woos and the oohs and the ahs. How come you lost your voice just from yelling, David?
I think trying to talk a little bit during the say something to your neighbor or whatever during the show, applauding. Not only do I use my hands, but my voice to applaud in between songs. And then, we hung out, know so many people in Atlanta, and I actually we got some family and friends some tickets for their first time, and we hung out afterwards. And Friday night it was very cold for Atlanta. It was kind of cold, and we were outside just kind of chatting with people after the show, and I think a little bit of that. Saturday night it was not cold at all after the show. It was so nice outside. And again, Ian and I, we were out late both nights just because we knew so many people, and we wanted to bask in the glory of each night and not wanting it to end. Just, chatting with so many people and about the experience. So I think I ran my mouth too much, Adam.
That's par for the course, is it not?
Yeah.
No, it's all good. I appreciate the words that come out of it, and every time you share them on this podcast, for sure. Yeah, what a weekend of shows, and I guess it probably felt like a hometown vibe in Atlanta show. A lot of the band is from there. We're in the Southeast, and just like a celebration of the year, I'm guessing is the vibe. Like at the end of the year, they're leaving it all out on the table. I remember on Friday, Susan did say something about her voice, I think, and needing some rest. But then on Saturday, it didn't seem like it wasn't an issue at all. It seemed like she was throwing the kitchen sink and at everything and just leaving it all out there. It was very, we always get everything. We get Gabe, we get Alicia, we get this, we get that, everyone gets their shine. But something about Susan, especially last night, she seemed very powerful and just like leaving it all out there. I don't know if that's the vibe you got.
Exactly. We've tried to listen to some of the shows that are available on the Internet Archive, and as time goes by, we were fortunate to be able to stream that one, last night's show, all the way home. Well, not all the way home, but during the trip, we listened to the show on the way home. But I would definitely say that particularly these past couple of weeks, they built up to these last two shows, and they didn't leave they didn't take anything with them. They left everything behind. Just everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. I mean, she did make that comment Friday night, and as we can get into, and everybody knows because we're not. I don't think we're divulging many secrets here tonight because it was on Nugs. Everybody saw it, and but she did make the comment, and they did switch up the encore Friday night. They passed over Space Captain and did Let's Get Stoned. So I don't think it had to, is taxing a high notes and everything for her on that night. And then, I mean, I thought Saturday, again, I don't know if she was having to hit any of the really high stuff, but I thought her voice was probably even stronger Saturday night than it was Friday night.
I kind of felt that too a little bit, and not that it wasn't strong on Friday. I wouldn't even noticed if she didn't say anything about her voice on Friday. No. Although on the very last note of "Let's Go Get Stoned," I'm like, okay, she took it. She didn't give it the whole. She kind of,
yeah, but
took it a little bit easy on that note.
I mean, I thought she was, incredible, and especially I thought Saturday. I mean, they used all the vocalists. I mean, everybody, got into it. And I mean, I thought Derek was absolutely on fire. And I don't, I know we've been giving Brandon so much love lately. And boy, is he, I don't know if did that come through on Nugs? I mean, he is just thumping the hell out of it. I mean, it's just so powerful. And he seems a little more animated. He's moving a little bit more on stage. And I noticed a good bit of Susan and Brandon looking at each other throughout. I don't know if they caught that on there was, I saw more interaction of that as well. And it just was, oh man, we get it. I just thought Saturday night was, I mean, I don't know where you go. I use the phrase near perfection. I mean, it was, I guess I was so proud of Atlanta. We were fortunate for Saturday night to have front row, and we did the backstage with Bobby before. And, it's certainly not a cheap ticket to do it with all that and him, but we wanted to do it in our hometown and everything. And several times I turned around. And I'm telling you, it was damn close to the whole freaking balcony was on their feet for the majority of the show. I mean, the majority. Every time I turned around and I could hear, I mean, it was, I was so proud of the crowd. I mean, you could just really hear them. It was, and I told you we had some friends. I'm sorry that Larry James could not be on the cast. He wanted to be on the show tonight. His son, I think, is a little ill, and he mentioned he's doing his fatherly duties, but he was in town, and we hung out a good bit over the weekend, and he had 3 tickets. And there's Larry. Yeah,
he offered me a ticket. What a nice guy. If I would have, I thought about it.
Over there, Adam, we got to work on your commitment. I mean, come on,
right.
You got to be more than just doing the. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought about it. I definitely thought about it for sure.
But he ended up his wife because I think his son was a little ill, didn't get to come over with him, and a friend. He had like 3 tickets, and I ended up getting a friend one for Friday night from him, and who had gone a bunch of times, and then Saturday night he had the pair. I got the pair for friends of mine who had never been, and they had been telling me for a long time they wanted to go. And I happened to see the guy's sister at the show Friday night. And I saw her in between the first set. She had never been with a friend, and they were just freaking blown away. I said, tell your brother Sandy to get his ass here Saturday night. Lo and behold, Larry texts me, hey, I got 2 for Saturday night. I texted my buddy Sandy. He was playing golf Saturday morning. He says, I'll take the 2 tickets. How much are they? Boom. Had them in the seats. They were right next to Larry, and they were just absolutely everybody says, I see why you're addicted, David. I can see how I see it, I see it and I get it. So everybody that you do that to, it's when they just say, I now understand. I understand. There's so much going on and coming out of those 12 people, and they're all freaking amazing.
I was sitting with my friend on Saturday night watching the show, and he's been to probably 5-10 shows with me already and knows the band and loves the music. But he turns to me and just says, "There is so much damn talent on that stage. It's worth just repeating." And I guess part of why we love to hear from the first timers at shows or get their reactions, it's just like it almost, I guess it confirms that we're not crazy in some way. But we just love to hear the enthusiasm from others and just share our joy of this music. There's nothing like it. I don't know. I can't think of any. I always try to think of something that compares to this band, because we got bands that that will tour a lot, or bands that will play long sets or have a diverse catalog. But between the size of their catalog and the quality of the band, it's just unmatched by any act out there. Says me.
That's what keeps it fresh. Them having 100 and something songs they can pick from at any time. Somebody's voice is weak or something like that night, they can just sub in another song, make changes. I think it helps them keep the energy up, because we see rock and roll bands that have their 6-7 songs that they do over, and they have just a structured set. You can look at setlist.fm and see that they're just playing the same thing every night. That's gotta get stale. Staleness with Tedeschi drums.
No, and I think maybe that even playing new songs and adding to the set list and changing things and bringing things back and adding new covers and this and that, it probably, like you're saying, it keeps them fresh and it keeps things interesting and fun for them. But also probably it keeps things fresh in terms of when they go back and play the songs that they've played a lot. I don't know. It maybe gives them new, fresh eyes and fresh ears on the old songs. They get inspired when they're trying new things, and it keeps the old stuff fresh, if that makes any sense.
Is this where we get to talk about 1999?
We can. I want to pull up the. I'll pull up.
I love it, Don. I love it. I know there's so much to talk about. It's like, God, we got to go through Friday night and then to get to Saturday. It's like, yeah, posters were cool. What, Adam? I thought the posters were really cool. Okay.
Which night is this?
They worked well with the decor there for the Fox. They blend in well with that. The Fox has that Egyptian Bedouin style look to it, and so they've worked really well with that.
With the stars up in the ceiling, up in the it's really a cool theater. And I happen to know, so the Fox is one of the places that they have the people that sell the merch are local. Right. So TTB's group doesn't do it. Local people do it, and happen to know the guy that does the merch there. And he actually had a couple of young people helping him out. And one of them happens to be my wife Ann's nephew. So he was there helping sell the merch. And it was his first time. He got to hear the band, I guess, through selling the merch and everything both nights. And he was freaking blown away. He was really into Gilded Splinters, he said, the first night. That really blew him away. But if you look in here, in the constellation of the stars, I think it's, it's either Derek or Derek's guitar.
Right.
See that? That's kind of cool. And as Don said, yeah, the Egyptian feel and all. It's, you got to look in for the dates and everything. It's kind of small on the column.
Yeah, I see right here. Yep.
But I thought it was, kind of the Atlanta skyline there in the back. I thought they were pretty cool posters. I thought they were, pretty cool. I don't know who did them. I don't know if he was a local.
Paragon Creative, according to the
TTB
posted. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are cool. Great detail in the pyramids here. There's Kevy.
Yeah, man, what a weekend he had! Wow.
The man keeps busy for sure.
Yeah. The the merch was great. They were I guess giving out the last chips of the year. It was a microphone. I don't know, was the microphone was the one given out both nights.
Yes, microphones both nights.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I don't know exactly how many chips or whatever, but I think the Fox holds about 5,000 people. I don't know if it was completely sold out, but it was. If not, it was damn close. And
it did not appear to be sold out both nights.
Yeah.
Particularly Friday night, it was low. That's why I posted on Saturday, say, come on down. Let's see this. Let's see this show. If you're in driving distance, get here. You can get tickets from the theater itself. They were still readily available. So
we had people flew in. I know some folks from New York flew in. We met a great couple from California. Adam, they flew in. So we were. They were the row in front of us on Friday night, and we chatted a little bit, and they ended up sitting right next to us on the front row Saturday night. And there's a couple from California. They said they had flown in last year to see both shows at the Fox, and they thought the atmosphere was incredible. They came all the way back this year. They said they did Sun, Sand, and Soul, and they're going to probably do it again. I said, we got to meet up again. I mean, we just had a great vibe. You know how a show goes as kind of your neighbors, right? If you're vibing with your neighbors, it just elevates the show. And I think his name was Rick, and I'm not remembering her name. And I would love to, be Facebook buddies. We so much enjoyed hanging out with you guys and dancing and, just talking about the songs and different stuff going on. It was a lot of fun having great neighbors at the show.
That's pretty amazing that people even in the balcony were standing for the majority of the show, because even standers and dancers like ourselves, like it's almost like understood that like if you want to stand, you're in the orchestra. If you want to sit, go in the balcony. Like that's almost like the sort of unwritten rule or understanding, the closest thing to an understanding in the sit-stand debate. But to hear that everyone in the balcony was standing too, that's pretty impressive that the band, yielded that much enthusiasm for this.
There was a lot of,
shows.
Particularly for the Allman Brothers songs, you're going to get, people stood up. People stood up for the Allman Brothers songs. And in the middle, there was a good section of the middle of the balcony that was standing up a lot. So
yeah,
so much energy though.
It was just there. I mean, and that's what I was asked. Kind of, I mentioned the band. Could you feel additional energy? And I think they could. And that just to me elevates them. It's been a long year. I don't know, Adam. You'll have, like you said, Larry will hopefully come on and wrap up the year with you or something. I don't know exactly how many shows they did or songs, but I know they were all over the country this year, right? I mean, they were pretty much everywhere. So I know they're tired, I'm sure. But boy, they left it all out there. This weekend, I was, for a long year and being the last two full band shows. I mean, like I said, it was near perfection from my point of view.
Yeah, I saw John Davis posted in one of the groups, like he's cataloged pretty much like all the songs and the statistics of what was played the most and all this. And we'll dive deeper into this on the year end recap. But I Want More looks like it was the most played song 47 times. We got so many songs. Let's see, how many did he actually say we got here? I don't know. It was a lot though. so much great music from this band. We can get into the set list. I stole this picture here from Stacy from one of the Facebook groups.
Yeah, got some drum. Yeah, I saw them handing out a few drumsticks. That was cool.
I assume this is okay to steal and share here. But
easily see that. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Here My Dear, I've Got a Feeling, Do I Look Worried, Chevrolet, 700 Houses, Playing With My Emotions, Tangled Up in Blue, Anyhow, Gilded Splinters to close out the set, Hold That Line, Fall In, Kebby and Isaac Jam, and To Let Me Get By, Done Somebody Wrong, Idle Win, State Trooper, Don't Let Me Slide, Don't Think Twice, DMSR, Bound for Glory, I Can't Make You Love Me, and Space Captain was the encore. You said Space Captain was not, was the encore? Oh, it's Let's Go Get Stoned. That's right. On
Friday. I think that was the only audible on the set list there Friday night. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty verbatim there.
Tangled Up in Blue. This rendition on Friday night. Bob Dylan's got to be proud. I mean, that was good stuff.
I hope he hears this. I hope he hears Susan and Derek doing his songs. Like I always wonder that. Does he actually listen to that? Do they come back to him? Hey, you should check out this version. I don't know. I mean, everyone under the sun covers Dylan, but like especially Susan and Derek, and obviously he's had a relationship with Susan, and she's open for him and whatnot or whatever. So I'm curious if he checks out those songs. But I think multiple people have mentioned specifically this version of Tangled Up in Blue being otherworldly.
This was my first time to hear 700 Houses live, and that was quite a treat.
Yeah, for sure. That just speaks to this band, like what you guys were saying earlier, that they have hundreds and hundreds of songs, but yeah, we can add another one. We can practice. We can relearn. We can dive into something, because they haven't played I mean, I don't even know if Tedeschi Trucks Band has played 700 Houses as a band together. I have to look that up.
They played it one night in North Carolina, I think was the first. Now they
this year. I mean, before this year.
They might have done it like, when they were first getting together or something back in 10 or somewhere in there, maybe. Yeah. But so obviously that was a first and again, been to so many shows, and it's so cool that I can still see and hear something that I've never seen. They can still pull out something that's it. It goes to Don saying their catalog is just so immense that, no matter how many shows you've gone to, you can still hear something you've never heard. It's crazy that way, I was wanting Tangled Up in Blue, Don, and we got it. We were in Chattanooga a couple of weeks ago, and so I've been fortunate enough now to hear it twice. And the way they trade off verses between Gabe and Mike and Susan, and then Derek's guitar playing, I mean, that is a breathtaking cover. And I did get a chance to ask Gabe about it, because Gabe was playing it with his trio when he was opening for TTB.
Right. I have seen.
Yeah. And I was like, so I'm guessing you kind of brought that, to the band. And he's like, yeah. And he actually, I think, gave credit to, wasn't sure if it was his bass player or his drummer that kind of brought it to his trio. So that's kind of where it sounded like it came from. And then they started playing it, and then, opening for TTB with it. And it's come into, to their version, which, Derek's guitar playing on that just takes it to another level. And to hear all three singers, I mean, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, Randy Schrager, Dan Asher, Gabe Dixon's trios.
So maybe one of them brought it to him. I wasn't sure exactly what he said, but
they definitely do it in his style. It sounds similar style to when Gabe Dixon Trio does it, but obviously it's a more full sound with 9 other musicians on stage. But yeah, this is just a stellar set. 700 Houses was played according to setlist.fm October 1st, 2010. Stevens Lake Park, Columbia, Missouri.
Wow, yeah. And then they just brought it out now 14 years later, huh? That's crazy. I've got a feeling, love that. That's just a great cover.
That was also played October 1st, 2010, as well was also Midnight Harlem was played that night, and Don't Drift Away was also played that night. Everything always kind of comes back, it seems like.
One of the things stood out to me, Adam and Don, I don't know if you heard it on the Nugs, but Do I Look Worried has changed up a little bit.
Gabe had the solo instead of Derek, that first solo.
Yeah, instead of 2 guitar solos, now they've given Gabe a solo in there, which is kind of cool. It's changed it up, and certainly noticed that as something that's changed. And then I was trying to think back, and I couldn't really remember hearing a Gilded Splinters in the first set. I'm sure it's been done a few times, but I thought the place was shaking to end the first set, Don. That Gilded
Yes, that was a great ending.
I mean, it was a powerful way to end that first set. Power.
It almost seems like with this band, what they've been doing during this the Deuces Wild tour, they'll have songs that will close sets. They'll have their songs that'll be later in sets. They'll have their encore songs. But then like 2 weeks later, that song will be like in the middle of set one. So you feel like you're getting like an encore song in the middle of a set. Like what Mojo Working was an encore recently, and then it was like second up in, Saturday night.
Yeah,
so I almost feel like, just because I follow this band so closely, it's like, wow, we're getting the encore at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Susan here is commenting, Fallen seemed to emerge during the tour as a more complex, longer version than the album. Yeah, I mean, it just continues to evolve. Yes, I did notice this as well, what Andrew says. Hey, sorry, I've already discussed it. We talked about Derek's Colonel Bruce sticker on his guitar. I did notice that as well. A couple of people posted in the group about that.
Because it was funny, as I was looking at his guitar, I saw it, I guess, the Saturday night, and I said, wow, there's something on his guitar.
This was
I said, I've never seen that before. But I couldn't tell just from the naked eye what it was. But I guess it turned out to be a Colonel Bruce. We got to do, like I said, we did the Backstage with Bobby Saturday night, and there is a picture and a plaque tribute to Colonel Bruce at Backstage at the Fox, and you get to kind of walk by that when they take you, on the little tour there. So I guess maybe that was there.
Was that your first time doing the Backstage with Bobby?
Yes. And it was interesting. So, he was funny. He's like, well, I don't need to introduce myself. He said Friday night there was 20-something people that did the Backstage. And Saturday night when we did it, there was only 5. It was like a real intimate it was Ann and I and Dave Thompson, who we know from Atlanta, big fan, and this other couple. It was just 5 of us. And so it was really intimate. And the Fox, again, being kind of home court to me, it was great. I'd never been back there. And obviously the Leonard Skinner live album famously was recorded at like a 3-night run at the Fox, I think in 76 it was maybe. And Ronnie Van Zant famously said during Freebird, play it pretty for Atlanta. And that's up on the wall above when the bands, I guess when they're walking out on the stage, they see that sign, play it pretty for Atlanta, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, these are Andrew's pictures that he posted in the Facebook group that I'm zooming in on here. You can kind of see.
Yeah, it does look like Colonel Bruce with his guitar maybe there. It looks like,
I guess so.
Is that am I seeing the neck of the guitar there towards the right, I guess? Maybe it is, yeah. And I was just telling Bobby, I said, I actually saw the Rolling Stones in the Fox in 1981. So Adam, you would that would be something you'd be drooling over. Saw them in a 5,000 seat spot in 81.
Was that Tattoo You tour?
No. Yeah, was that Start Me Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, might have been Start. Yeah. And then I also saw on Bruce Springsteen's legendary 78 tour, I saw Springsteen in the Fox there. So I've seen been fortunate enough to see some amazing people in that theater. And I always think the sound in there is so good. Don, what'd you think of the sound in there?
Oh, fantastic. Loved it. And then you said Springsteen. So we've got to talk about Friday Night with State Trooper.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, what a vehicle for Mike Madison. Was it not just fantastic?
Yes.
I was blown away when they started that. I'm going like, what's this song? And I'm like, no way.
Yeah, that was a beauty. That we also got hold the line for only, I don't know, have they played that 5 times maybe or something? And
not much this year, not much at all. I forgot there was there's a little bit of flute on that, because I'm thinking about which songs actually have flute for the TT plays besides Idle Wind, Soul Sweet Song, and Don't Think Twice. They've been playing flute, but we get a little bit of flute on Hold That Line as well.
It's very nice to hear the flute again. I mean, we had a period of time without any flute, and particularly, obviously, last night, a little emotional there with the flute on Soul Sweet Song. but it's definitely nice to hear it on Idle Wind as well, because I mean those are things that we missed.
We're getting at least 2 flute songs a night. It seems like this lately, which is super cool.
And we should address. Was it Diane or something mentioned Fall In? I mean that, you got to redo my intro to the podcast. Fall In is number one. It's past. Yes, I mean that
number one today. Number one right now.
That Fall In has become a big favorite of mine. I'll tell you that. Oh man, it's just, whew.
Well, those songs seem, the whole theme of the I Am the Moon just fits with the Fox so well. I mean, just the Middle East, the Arabic feel and everything just goes right with the Fox.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Definitely.
Yeah, it was that Fall. I mean, it's been a favorite of mine this year on tour. It's just love hearing that.
It's just a fully integrated experience, I feel like, between the fans and the music and the venue and the posters and the vibe and the feel and just the lights and everything is just like working together very symbiotically or something like that.
Yeah. And DMSR, that was the first time Ann and I had seen that live as well. So we got 2 700 houses and DMSR we had never heard before. So we had two treats on for us on Friday night. And I mean, just some other favorites. Don't Let Me Slide, unbelievable. Obviously, Idle Wind, and Don't Think Twice was spectacular. And then, I mean, I guess it's my favorite, Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory.
And I can never argue with that. I mean, it's just, oh my goodness, it just was, breathtaking for me as always. That one just, I don't know, takes me to church. It's spiritual. It just, I don't know. It just touches my heart every time they sing that. I mean, it just gets me.
It gets me when they play one note going into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you hear Derek do his, little, as soon as I'm like, oh my God, here it comes.
Did I miss something? I'm may not be as familiar with this, but they use Alicia a little more this time on Bound for Glory than she might normally be. She seemed to be like a little out front more on that.
Yes. They do give her kind of a solo there towards the end. Yeah.
I think it's just these songs just evolve over time, and sometimes I don't even notice when there's like change. Like we notice like the extra Gabe solo, whatever, and Do I Like Word. But sometimes these songs just evolve, and I don't even notice when these parts slightly change. I did like the Gabe solo on the Do I Look Word, because sometimes I feel like almost it like there's certain something special about Derek's intensity when he's playing the Do I Like Word. It's very, I can't even articulate the feeling that that I have when I'm listening to that. But you had that same intensity in that part when Gabe was playing his solo as well. So I think that worked well. I'm curious to see where these songs go from here. I mean, we got some time off before.
For me, going back to the early times of listening to his solo on Do I Look Worried is like quintessential, a signature. It's just that solo is just, it's just so in your face, just beautiful Derek work. I love hearing that. I know they play Do I Look Worried a lot, and I never tire of that. I mean, his solo on there just, oh my God. I mean, just spine tingling. I mean, it's so amazing. So
every song just seems to evoke like just I talk about this, but like a different feeling within me. Like some songs are triumphant, some songs you're more reflective on, some songs you're thinking about like, your life's journey. Like Tangled Up in Blue, I think is probably one of the more like sort of autobiographical storytelling Bob Dylan songs where you can sort of listen to it and think of the years passing and think of the world changing and sort of your own personal life. That's kind of what I associate with certain songs like Tangle Up in Blue, like the passage of time versus like a song like Do I Look Worried, which is more like I'm going to be okay. Do I look worried? Or, 700 Houses, which is more like almost like mourning or reflecting or something like that. Like all these songs, they have such a specific purpose and certain themes and feelings that they evoke. And there's such a good balance with just that within the set list. Forget about like the tempo and the styles of the songs, just like the themes and the feelings that they evoke. Like there's a good balance and a diversity with those elements as well within a set and a show.
Yeah, I totally with you. Certain, like you said, certain songs, make you feel a certain way. It just, they evoke different emotions, different body movement to me. It's just the whole, another one of my favorites, Let Me Get By. And when she just says, get out of my way, it's just, I just like my fist, get out of my way. It just, that's the emotion I get from that one all the time. And
even a king yells sometime.
Yeah. It's just, that one does that to me. We have to talk about one little boo-boo that happened on Friday night on Done Somebody Wrong. So,
I must have missed that.
Okay. Oh, so, Susan and Gabe switch verses on Done Somebody Wrong.
Right.
So I had to ask, I don't know who it was, somebody that bumped into after the show, and they kind of explained the whole thing to me. So when the song started, the first verse, Susan and Gabe both started to sing. And then Gabe stopped after the first couple of words. Susan took it. And, actually, I think Bobby Teese told me when we did the Backstage tour the next night, I said, hey, Done Somebody Wrong. I said, it kind of started. He goes, well, kind of Susan jumped in and grabbed the first verse and instead of it being Gabe's first. And he said, and they just did it the whole song. So usually Gabe does the odd verses and Susan does the even. And since she did the first one, they just flipped it for the whole song. So you have to go back and listen. I guess I have to listen to another version, but that's what Bobby said, that they actually sang the different verses than they normally do. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what my friend asked me. He's like, because he knows I listen to all the songs and all the music that comes out from this band. He's like, did they ever make a mistake? I'm like, not really, like missing a note or out of key or hitting the wrong note. It's not like that. It's more like what you're describing. that those types of things. Maybe missing a lyric or coming in at not exactly the right time. But it's not like no one's off key, no one's playing the wrong note really or anything like that. It's more those little things that happen here and there, which are bound to happen, but like it doesn't take away from this band, and we kind of enjoy. I feel like I enjoy some of the spontaneity, and it makes them more human, And she's just so comfortable on stage, like whether things are going perfect or whatever the case may be. She just seems like totally in her element up there, just like. Working the crowd and talking and just like, and you could see that, especially on the Nugs, the Nug streams, like how much joy that the band has and all the facial expressions and all that. Like there were some really, animated Derek moments with his face and laughing and smiling. It was quite something to catch on the live stream, which you get with all the close-ups and whatnot. Of course, lots of cool camera angles. I really like this one angle with Gabe in the foreground. And you could see Susan in the background singing, facing the audience. She's kind of facing right or whatever. But it feels like you're side stage and you're like almost like a voyeur, kind of just like watching the show from like side stage. That was one of my favorite angles that they used when you're kind of just standing side stage with Gabe in the foreground. It was cool.
Oh, that is cool. It is nice when they give you angles that you can't see as a regular fan, right? When you're in the crowd, you don't get that type of angle. So for them to share that is so awesome.
The cameras on the drummers were shaking. The camera on Isaac and the camera on Falcon, they were shaking when they were playing. And I thought that added to it. It almost felt like you could feel like you were there. Like it was like they were causing an earthquake with their powerful playing. That I really did like that, and you could see how hard, especially Falcon, is working. I think you could see like his shirt looked like it was drenched in sweat on Saturday, and I thought actually I don't know why I thought this, but I think it was Friday he was wearing like a mechanic type outfit, and I remember hearing the story of how he got the name Falcon from Colonel Bruce, and Colonel Bruce, I mean, partly because I think it's his playing and, the speed of his playing and ferocity or whatever, but also it was named after this plumbing company. So for some reason, I'm like, is he wearing a Falcon plumbing shirt? Is that because we're in Atlanta, because it's Colonel Bruce? So I'm like, I don't know, I just thought of that because it looked like a plumber's mechanics type thing. So I thought maybe that was, but I tried to look closely to see if it was, I don't think it said Falcon on his shirt, but I was curious about that.
That's
but
funny.
yeah.
That's funny. I could notice that from the crowd. That's funny.
He was drenched night two though in sweat. It looked like that dude works hard.
It looked like Derek was sweating pretty good night two as well. I thought.
No, you said it was warmer.
Yeah, I thought I saw him, sweating up a good bit. I thought Susan had two beautiful outfits. She looked great.
The whole band looked great. Very, very stylish. I mean, Kebby's got so many accessories. They're just a cool looking group, and I like how they all have their own individual styles. I always gravitated towards bands that kind of like the individual members would dress in their own unique ways. I don't know, something about like all these bands that come out and like all the guys are dressed in black or whatever. I don't know, it's not as interesting to me. I like that there's a diversity of wardrobes on the stage and styles and really like. And it all works. Like sometimes the band will wear a T-shirt and Derek could be wearing a sport coat. Like, and it all makes sense. Like, they always look good too. They're a good looking group.
Mark had on some cool looking pants Saturday night. I thought, I don't know if you can see on the video. He had some cool pants on. I thought his slacks were really cool on Saturday night. I thought that was pretty cool. But
they look like musicians.
I got to go back and listen to I want to listen to two versions of "Done Somebody Wrong" and check out the verses. I got to. That's on my list to do. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I was busy with other music today, so I didn't get a chance to dive into that. But I do want to. I want to check that out.
Yeah, someone already posted. I think was it Friday? I don't know if last night is up as well, but was it Mr. Soul or someone on the archive? Is that who?
Oh, really? Did somebody get it up already?
Oh, Z Man looks like Z Man put up last night.
Oh yeah, he's an Atlanta guy. He taped. That's awesome. Yay, Z Man. Thank you, Z Man.
And Friday also Z Man. Yep. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He's a local guy here in Atlanta, and he if you are friends with him, he broadcasts a lot of live local music in Atlanta. He puts it on his Facebook page. He does shares a lot of music in Atlanta. Z-Man's well known here in Atlanta. So awesome.
Should we get into night two? Anything else on night one here?
Oh man.
I did not know that they had added DMSR, and was delighted to hear DMSR by them. 2 Prince songs this weekend, DMSR in 1999. So,
yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, man. It was a great night Friday night, but it was a spectacular night Saturday night. It was, oh my God. Again, I do like the 2 sets because you get a little break and you get to chat with your friends and talk about what you heard and what you think might be coming up and what you think of this and that and I know I certainly didn't coin it, and it's been said before, but sometimes they say, oh, that set 1 kind of warms it up for set 2, and I said, let me tell you something. Set 1 was all thriller and no filler on Saturday night. It was my first thing I told Ann was, I said, whenever they open up with Don't Drift Away, you're going to have a happy night. Because, I just think that is, I don't know, that, I love when they open with that. It just sets the whole mood, and it's just a beautiful song that the horns complement, and it just, Susan is spectacular. The backup vocals there. It's I mean, it's a damn near perfect opener.
Yeah.
I
Don't
would have
drift
to
away.
go back through the Facebook page to see who posted it, but their comment I thought got our view of this really well. They watched it on Nugs. They said, I was at home in bed through this thing, and I was exhausted. Because everything, I mentioned to both of y'all earlier, the only comparison I could do was to that Brothers album, the Brothers performances at Madison Square Gardens in March of 2020, where every song was just perfect, just over the top. That's what Saturday Night was for Tedeschi Trucks. Every song was just to the limit or past it.
To get Stand Back and Mojo in just like the middle of set one is just, you know, you're in for something special that night. Because again, those are songs that Stand Back has been an encore song. Mojo Working has been an encore song. But Don't Drift Away, Mojo, Crying Over You, Sweet and Low, Stand Back, 1999, Part of Me Just Won't Burn. Made Up Mind was set one. Set two, Presence of the Lord, Shame, Come and Go Blues, It Ain't Fair, Dreams, Soul Sweet Song, How Blue Can You Get, Midnight, I Want More, Angel, Sugary. I Wish I Knew. Midnight was moved to the Encore.
Yep.
Midnight was moved to the Encore. And then Sly Medley. I was predicting Midnight, Encore, and Space Captain, actually, for the Encore, because I knew they hadn't played it. So I was like, they hadn't played Midnight up until the Encore night, too. So I'm like, we're getting Midnight in the Encore. And then I was thinking Space Captain. But Sly Medley, I know that's your favorite, David, Encore song.
We saw Ann's shirt. Okay, we were ready for that.
I'll chime in on that, Don, exactly. So,
yeah, what influence did you have over the set list, David? Because I know some of these, you got Bound for Glory, Sly Medley.
No, we didn't. We didn't have any influence, but I will tell you this. I wore a broke out one I hadn't worn in a while. I wore a Made Up Mind shirt. My tie-dye Made Up Mind shirt Saturday night, and Susan did start it, and she did give me a little point for the Made Up Mind, which was awesome. I thought, it's great. But then Ann actually made she had one we've talked before, 3 years ago, whatever it was, when TTB was at the Fox, and she had on her Boom Shakalaka tribute to the Sly Medley and Sly and the Family Stone, and Derek actually changed the Encore for her that night. It's the only time I think we've ever had any inkling of any influence, and we did get to see them after we waited out by the bus, and Susan came over and actually signed the set list and said Sly Medley for Ann. And so he did change it that night. It was already on we obviously didn't know, but it was on the set list for Saturday night. And that's the shirt. It was a new one she had made. So she made a new shirt that she wanted to wear for Saturday night. And I mean, Susan smiled at her before they started it in the Encore after midnight. She smiled at Ann, and I'd never seen Ann jump up so high when they hit the first note, and Susan was nodding at her, and she's like, really? I'm getting it? And it just, what a way to end the year. I mean, it was just, and of course I have to turn around and look at the crowd and see and again, the balcony was, I don't know, it had to probably been shaken up there during.
Yes, we were shaking in the balcony, definitely.
It just was such a great way. And I tell you that our musical heart is full and will somehow survive the next 5 or 6 months without this wonderful band playing live for us. And we did stick around. We were out by the bus very late last night. I think they have a lot of friends in Atlanta, whatever. So their backstage after thing, I guess, goes for a long time. But we waited outside with Larry James, how he got all those pictures at him. We were out there with him, and there was maybe a handful of people that stuck around, probably an hour and a half or more after the show. And they came out and were very gracious to say a quick hello and snap a couple of pictures. And we were able to get one with Ann and I and Susan. last night, and that was the cherry on top of an unbelievable weekend.
Yeah, everyone's just so nice, this band.
But there's so much to talk about in this set. And I mean, Ann immediately said to me, she goes, God, I don't think we've heard Crying Over You, live in a long time. And it was spectacular. I mean, Mike, and that groove, that woo, 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 in Derek's play, it was, you felt that one. I mean, that one that really got to me. And then the next song, Ann and I had never seen live. We had never seen Sweet and Low. And I feel terrible that Larry James, again, is not on this podcast.
He has the T-shirt. That's the Sweet and Low T-shirt.
That's his chase, has been his chase forever. And he wore his Sweet and Low shirt Friday night. And so Saturday, we had a set break. First thing I did was, I think he was, Saturday, he was 5 rows behind us or something. First thing I did at the set break, I ran up to Larry. He goes, I was crying. He goes, the tears were streaming down my face. He was just so, it just, it made Ann and our night knowing that Larry was getting that song, because we knew how much it meant to him, and that, we loved it. It was beautiful. You saw Susan sang it, beautifully. And we just knew that Larry was, as much as we were loving it, he was way above us in his love for that. So
I think that makes the whole experience, like just being a fan of this band, that much better. Because I don't know, just having all that context besides us loving all these songs, when we associate songs with our friends and family and history, and this person we know loves this song, like it means that much more to us when they play certain songs. When they'll cover the Allman Brothers or Eric Clapton stuff, Derek and the Dominoes, I'll think of my dad, and I'll think of all the things that about these songs that mean so much to me personally. It's just all this context. It adds so much more meaning to the music.
Yeah, and again, we felt it for him. Yeah, it's great. And I think other sometimes someone will say to us, that they hear we get something that we've been chasing for a long time. Because again, seen them a lot of times, but they're still always busting out stuff that you haven't seen. And again, big tribute to the Allman Brothers. I think, we had, I guess, one song Friday night, and then we got Stand Back, we got Come and Go Blues, we got Dreams.
Then Ain't Fair, Dwayne tribute, obviously, as well.
And a little bit of Little Martha going into midnight.
Right.
It was packed. And as Don said, the Allman Brothers, Atlanta's not far from Macon. It's pretty, second home to the Allman Brothers. And, the crowd definitely responded to all the Allman Brothers stuff, and Stand Back was great. And then for us again, in 1999 was first time hearing that live, and it was, again, Mike kills it. It was, again, some of these that you hear on the archives, or you hear a Mixler or whatever, but then to actually be in the room and you're like, it's just so much better. It's so much
yeah, for sure. I have to think that playing the Allman Brothers songs in Atlanta is that much more special for Derek. I have to believe that, especially like when you're describing how the crowd is standing and responding to it, and it's got to be a different feeling. Like he must be, thinking about the history and the legacy of that band when he plays these songs, especially in Atlanta, I would think.
Yeah, we were actually some friends of ours introduced on Friday night. There was a gentleman and I think 2 ladies that were to the left of Ann, and there was 2 young ladies to my right, and they were into it. And she said to me, she goes, God, I just love your enthusiasm. I said, are you surprised because I'm so old that I'm dancing, I'm up and everything? And she kind of laughed, and then she talked to Ann during the set break, and she goes, well, I'm kind of introverted. I kind of, I just kind of, lay low or whatever. She goes, but I'm kind of dancing next to your husband here and really getting into it, So it's, and she's probably half my age or something, It was just funny to hear, how things, But back the couple on the left, I got introduced to the guy at the set break. He lived in Macon and lives in Macon, and he pulled out a picture he had taken of Dwayne Allman. So he saw Dwayne. So he's a little older than me. I first saw the Allman Brothers in '74, so it was after Dwayne and Barry. But he had actually seen, the original Allman Brothers, back in the early '70s, and he pulled out a couple of pictures that he had of Dwayne. I was definitely in awe of, it was pretty spectacular. It was nice. Somebody introduced us and, found out he was from Macon and a huge, huge Allman Brothers fan. That was really cool.
Come and Go Blues is such a cool song, and I don't know. I wouldn't call it necessarily complex or complicated, but there's a lot of little nuances and parts and tempo changes and little things that are different parts in there. It's really kind of a brilliant song, and it's great. I love what the band does with that, and Gabe brings it certainly.
Yes. Having Gabe with that one, Dreams, getting his vocals in. This is what we saw. Our discussion on the way home about Saturday night was like everybody had a spot where they could come out and shine a little bit.
Yep.
And of course, right in between Come and Go and Dreams, you've got It Ain't Fair.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, but hey, let's finish the first set first. Guy.
I'm just jumping all over the place.
I know there's so much there, but I just want to say, so part of me, I think is, I guess you said I Want More was played more. I always think a part of me's played, every second or
other night.
time.
Yeah.
And you talk about the different emotions, right, Adam? Each song, that song is it's like the dance song to me for TTB. It makes you want to dance, Whenever they start that up, you just hear a little something in the crowd, and everybody starts kind of dancing, and you look around and everybody's got that part of me groove going on. It's just so funny. That's what I think of when I hear part of me. I want to dance.
According to John C. Davis, Part of Me was played 43 times this year. Made Up Mind also 43, anyhow 44. So it's third.
And Just Won't Burn, I thought Susan was off the chain. I mean, everybody, I know I've been, I always listen to your podcasts, Adam, and I know people have been talking, and it was, I don't know if it was the best ever, but it was freaking up there. I mean, she was, Don?
It burned. I'm telling you, it was hot. It's just very good, very good.
Yeah,
she commands the room.
Yeah, I mean that
one person.
Look at that. Hey, if you went to a show and all you got was that first set, that was the whole show, you would say unfreaking believable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just by itself, Adam, that is that is laying it down right there. I mean, that is packing right there in my book. It was, like I said, it was damn near perfection.
I'm jumping around again, but in terms of how blue can you get, I think that might be the record for Susan Measures doing a solo over and over again. Derek just kept pushing and pushing, and I think she was almost like surprised. She's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Just keep going. Yes, no." But she kept digging and kept bringing it out, and that was quite something. I'm excited to go back and dig into that one too.
I want to hear Derek on Shame again. His guitar on Shame, and her vote. I'm sure you saw it enough. I mean, she was like right over in front of his guitar singing, and I mean, getting right at him, and he was just going. And I mean, it was. I thought it was just a fierce Shame.
Shame is a song she always just gets just digs in for something. And she was digging last night.
She's passionate about that one.
Sure.
I mean, again, one of my all-time favorites. One of the first T-shirts Ann ever made for me. That's what it said. That's how I feel about that song. I said I want that on a shirt. I said I got to have that one. That was, and I know somebody posted Adam that they've kind of stopped doing the back half where she does the haunting vocal at the end. You know, they've kind of, it seems like they've dropped that.
They've done it a couple. I think they did it a couple of times this year. I feel like they're just dropping it, not because they don't want to do it or they don't like. I think it's just for time, honestly. Like they cut that part and they could just do other stuff. I think that's really what it is. The thought process, I guess.
Again, I love it. I love it either way. I mean, it's one of my favorites. It was just, and I thought it was so powerful Saturday night. And then you say, "Come and Go Blues." It's got a great groove, you know. And then, as you said, it ain't fair. We got to talk about that. But I didn't think it was going to go into Dreams because we had already had so much Allman Brothers. I was like, I'm not sure we're going to get it. And then we did.
No, I thought we were. I assumed.
And then it was just like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. But I would say, I have to say, and Don, you can tell me from where you were, I thought at the end of It Ain't Fair was probably the loudest roar of the week.
Yes, the crowd definitely responded to Alicia. But Susan was responding to Alicia. I mean, she was like going, "Wow!" You just, you could see that.
I like to see Susan up there doing the harmony vocals with Alicia.
I remember in the past, Adam. You remember back a few years ago, she would sometimes get in line with the other two when someone had like Mike maybe sometimes had something out front, and she would get back there with Alicia and Mark and sing in one of the mics back there.
I think I have seen that, yeah.
Yeah, she used to get back there sometimes. I thought that was really cool. She's, right, just in with the group and everything. But again, I mean, Alicia, she just kills that. As somebody posted, that they had said, oh, we wanted, we've been hoping for a long time Alicia would get, her song. And, this has just been spectacular. I mean,
I saw that comment and it works. It's exactly the correct response for this. I did not realize she had done that so many times this year, but it was like practice for last night. It came together. I think with having this is the end of our tour. This is the end of the year. Everybody was just kind of free, just to go ahead and if it's going to blow my voice out, I'll get it back later. I can leave it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a moment. It ain't fair. And again, like thinking about those feelings and themes that all these songs evoke. I mean, that one is pretty damn straightforward in terms of like something that really everyone can relate to. Like we don't want to think of ourselves as victims. We don't want to think of ourselves as and feeling bad for ourselves. But it almost is like it's part of like acknowledging reality that, yeah, sometimes life just isn't fair and we need to like come to grips with that. And I think just hearing a song like that, it helps us like process that feeling and that sort of inevitability in life that sometimes things just suck. Like, but I think that just helps us, deal with hardships in life. Like, and we all kind of connect through this music. It's just spectacular. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that performance anymore. I don't know why. I mean, if Alicia does another song, it's going to be like tough for her to like.
But it would be cool if she gets another one down the road. That would be cool. But I just came to me about It Ain't Fair and the different things, and I'm kind of like, I'm thinking, when like TTB is doing this song, and it's just like, it's just not fair to all the other bands how good they are. It just ain't fair. There's just TTB and there's everybody else. It just ain't fair. They're just on a different level, It ain't fair what they do compared to anybody else. They're just, tops in my book.
Oh yeah, stellar stuff all around. What else jumps out at you? Anything else you guys want to talk about here about this side? What else we got?
How did Derek's playing come across on Nugs on Dreams? Because it shook the room. Oh my God.
Yeah, Suzanne saying it ain't fair that Alicia was crying in Raleigh when she was singing. It looked like she was crying last. I don't think she was, but like there's just so much emotion like coming from her and coming from even from Susan, of course, like we were talking about. There's just like you're saying, Don, everything was left out on the table, and they put their feelings and emotions into, and they're bodies. You could see it into every note, into every song, especially Susan and Alicia when they sing, certainly. Mike, everything just comes easy.
We enjoyed the way the crowd was singing along with Susan on Angel. Angel from Montgomery, Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
The entire crowd seemed to be singing along with her for that.
Yeah. It's funny. So you got the Dream, the Soul Sweet song, How Blue. And I was so wrapped up, I hadn't even thought of, hey, we're 3.5 sets in, and we haven't had a Midnight or an I Want More. It didn't even occur to me. And then all of a sudden, after How Blue, they went into I Want More. And I mean, that gets the heart pumping.
I was nervous about
Nope. What happened? You there?
Am I hearing something that y'all aren't hearing?
Nope.
I must be.
You said you were nervous about something.
Well, I'm getting some real jam coming through my headphones right now. I don't think so. This podcast. So
you sound okay.
Pardon me just for a moment.
I thought you were nervous you weren't going to get a certain song.
Yeah, I've got the Rolling Stones jamming in my ear right now. That's in my wife's car. I think she just pulled up, and it's cycling through.
Your Bluetooth is connected. Your Bluetooth is connected.
That's exactly
something,
what's going on.
Something like that.
Because I've got the Rolling Stones and Hackney Diamond going with some serious jam there.
You better hear that with Adam.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah,
I was nervous because we had not heard Midnight, and I was expecting. It's one I always listen for. Had no concept that it would come out as the encore. Was really delighted that they did that, and it's a good spot for it because I think a lot of people in the audience were waiting for Midnight.
I assumed I wouldn't have been disappointed if they didn't play it. I would have been like surprised if they didn't play it. It almost would have been like, I don't want to say a pleasant surprise, but it would have definitely been a surprise if they hadn't played it. So sometimes those it's gonna be a great music and great songs no matter what they choose.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting that they did Audible right from there. That he somehow how he what goes on during the set to say, hey, let's slide this into the encore spot or whatever. It's just kind of crazy, isn't it? And,
I thought Susan and Brandon talking and looking back, it was around that time in the lineup that I told my wife, I said, I think they're doing some kind of change. I don't know what it is, but whatever happened, it went on smoothly, and then that might have been it.
Yeah. I wasn't sure exactly on the clock and the time and the duration of the show at this point, but I was thinking I Want More could have been the end of the set potentially.
That's what I thought, Adam. I was like, okay, and now the whole thing, I guess, for me with I Want More is, are they doing Bex Bolero? Are they going back to Soul Sac? And lately, I've been in more of the Soul Sacrifice camp.
Same.
Yeah, and then we got it, and it just. I mean, again, those drums. Oh my, Adam. I mean,
it was shaking. I'm telling you, it was shaking. They were shaking the cameras, both of them, Isaac and Falcon.
I just was like, I just kind of said to Ann, I said, thank you, Derek. I really want, when you get it, you think one of them's coming, but I thought, same thing. I thought that's the end of the set, and I said, oh well, maybe we'll get 2 or 3 song encore. But I figured after Soul Sacrifice, I'm exhausted. I'm like, everything is spent, and I'm expecting Susan to say thank you and whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, they're getting ready to play some more.
Right. I think on the Nugs after the Soul Sacrifice, I Want More. The camera was like, they were zoomed back on the wide shot, and I'm looking closely at the members on the stage. I'm like, are they leaving? Are they walking? Are they standing there? It looks like they're staying. And yeah, the show just continued.
The same reaction on the Nugs. That's crazy. Yeah, it was like, and then like Don said, I mean, she started, and it sounded like the whole crowd was singing Angel with her. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, you could just hear the crowd singing. I mean, it was I thought it was beautiful. And then I'm like, well, they're not going to end with that, right? So I'm like, gosh, we got more coming. I said, I've never seen them, finish a set with Angel. So I figured we got more coming, and I was like, wow, where are we going? One of the things that stood out to me, and I'm looking at it now on paper, is I look at this on paper and I go through this, only one song, I believe, off the whole I Am the Moon on Saturday night. And that was Soul Sweet Song. Only one song off the whole I Am the Moon.
Well, they'd done 4 the night before. We were talking a moment ago about 4 Allman Brothers songs on Saturday night. It's like that was kind of like their background theme on Friday night. And then just Soul Sweet Song. And I really saw that because it was one of the shorter songs they did. I really just saw it as a tribute song.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I thought it was interesting. I thought we might get a Passaquan.
Passaquan was the other song I was anticipating getting. But in our discussion on the way home, it's like, that's really a way to bring out the drums. It's a way to bring out other things. And those all got highlighted at some point during the show anyway. So they kind of helped cover that ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Passaquan either night. No. How dare they?
I've got a playlist. It's got like 15 versions of Passaquan in it. So that's all. It's just a whole Passaquan playlist.
Do you have a favorite Passaquan that you've heard, Don?
I couldn't identify a particular one.
Yeah. That's a hard question. Yeah. Whatever one you're listening to lately.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I thought I Wish I Knew was great. Obviously, you get 4 of the vocalists all participating, so it's just a great vocal, and it's such a uplifting song. It just I don't know, it makes they're clapping, and Susan and Mike are smiling at each other, and then Mark and Alicia do their thing, and it just was.
It's just one of those songs and those themes and those feelings that the song evokes. It's just like something we all can relate to. We all feel at times in our lives just trapped by certain things that are inevitable in life, and we want to be free from whatever it is, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's the struggle in daily life. We always, think about certain things, in our lives that we can relate to these songs. It's just makes the music that much more special, and it keeps us going in life. Like this music really does help sustain me from day to day, and music is healing, music is medicinal, and this is what people have. I mean, I think it's been scientifically proven, but like people don't feel well, they're sick, they're ill. Like music is it has literal healing properties, and when you're listening to something that you especially connect to and love, I think those properties probably are that much more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was just a great way to end the set. And then, to come out and pretty quickly, you realize you're getting midnight, right?
Yeah.
You get the Little Martha. it was a long version, right? We got the Kebby, sax. And I have to give a shout out to my friend, Kathy. So Keith won't come on the show. He and Kathy, they live here.
Yeah, they're awesome. I love them.
Yeah, you've met them. They're great. So Kathy they were in the front row Friday night, and so they had somewhere down front Saturday night, and they had tickets, I think, like in the front row of the balcony, the loge or whatever, and didn't see them down front, and I figured, the tickets were down front. They gave I don't know if it was one of their kids or a relative or something. So the sax solo for Kebby comes at the beginning of midnight, and I hear Kebby. I'm like, that's Kathy. I hear her from the balcony. It was so amazing because she loves Kebby, and she always yells that out. Usually she's somewhere in the front, and I heard her all the way from the balcony. It was hilarious. I told her after the show when I saw her, I said, it was so great that I didn't miss that night, And I heard her all the way from the balcony. I knew it was her voice. It was so funny. And
what song was that before?
Midnight when he's doing his when Kebby starts his sax solo at the beginning of Midnight and she yells out Kebby, and I heard her. It was so funny. I don't know.
I wonder if you can hear.
Yeah, I wonder if it was on the Nugs. If you can hear it, that was funny.
I think I subscribed to. I think I subscribed to Nugs, so I think I can go back and actually check out these shows.
I don't know that I'll get to see it. I'm not a subscriber, so I don't know if I can play the shows back or not. But
we have it's on your archive.
It's on archive.
Yeah.
But we need to get the in between the songs thing so we could hear our friends yelling at the band.
Yeah. see if that comes through. It was so funny. It was classic. So I mean, they travel all over. You know, Keith and Kathy are everywhere, and they're just huge fans. And Keith puts up a lot of nice videos and stuff. He does a lot of just great stuff, and they're wonderful people. So it was funny to hear her say that.
Do you guys meet a lot of fans that are as passionate about, I guess, other like TTB fans that go to like another band as much or close to like TTB as like, oh, I go to all the TTB shows, but I also try to go to as many North Mississippi All-Stars or whatever band, like, or all the TTB fans, like, our favorite band is TTB and there's no one even really that close. I don't know. That's a vague question.
Yeah,
but
I think there's some people that follow some others. I don't know as intently, but yeah, we have talked sometimes, and they'll ask me, well, you know, this or that, and I'm like, no, it's, you know, I don't really follow that or this, you know, we'll listen to some stuff if it comes through town or whatever, but you know, certainly not jumping into a bunch of other stuff. But there are, you know,
but keep in mind that for nearly every other band, they're going to put together a set list, and that's what you're going to get. I mean, if you go from town to town, you're going to get the same list everywhere or very close to it with just maybe one or two song variations. With Tedeschi trucks, you don't know what's going to happen, but you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, for me, I feel like if I had the chance to go to 14 TTB shows or go to 13 TTB shows and see one other band one time, I would probably still choose the 14 TTB shows over any other act. I can't, honestly. I mean, I would have to think about it, especially if it's like some bucket list thing I've never seen. But I would probably
which other band is doing an innovation like 1999 in a blues format with Mike killing it? Man, if Prince Rogers Nelson was around, he would be going like, what? This is great. Thank you.
Yeah. No. What other band has 5 incredible vocalists?
I think that's part of it too. Obviously, that's a huge part of it, is the fact that we get so much diversity in the set list, but also diversity of the vocalists and all that. So you get so much from this band in terms of the music and the personnel. It really satisfies like any sort of musical hunger I would have. Like, what, I don't need to go see the Stones. We might get a Stones song from TTB for all. We might get a Heartbreaker or Dear Doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a thought. Somebody put a bug in Mike's here to do Candle in the Wind. We would love to hear Candle in the Wind. I don't think they've done much Elton John over the years. I think they did Border Song at some time in the past. But, I mean, what about that? So
that could be like a tribute, I think.
Put it out there. You put it out in the universe, John. You never know. Right?
You never know.
Put it out there. You put it out there. You never know.
I can see that being a tribute.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. I'll just share some more of these pictures, and we could. I don't know what else.
Sent you one. I got some great shots of Susan and a couple of Mike. You know, Saturday night. You know, took advantage of being in the front there to get some good shots, and but Larry he did.
He sent me a couple other pictures too. I think that might be his poster.
Yeah, that was.
That's the band's social media. I'm not sure what's going on here. Just being silly.
Yeah.
My friend asks, is that the Jerry Seinfeld puffy shirt? Kind of looks like it.
Oh, is that there? That's Justin.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, he really has stepped in and done an amazing job. And
on trumpet, not bass. That
yeah,
he must be holding
obviously
Brandon's
on
bass
trumpet.
there.
He's done a great job. And again, maybe I was when we did the backstage thing with Bobby, and I mentioned something about Justin, and he said somebody talked or whatever with him, whatever. And he goes, they didn't realize he was such a huge fan of the band, and that he listened to a lot and kind of, I guess, probably already knew a good bit of it. Obviously, he was an early member of the Marcus King band before Marcus kind of went more solo and kind of changed things up. But he was, he played with the Marcus King band, and obviously trumpet, did a little bit of percussion stuff, and also did some background vocals with Marcus. So a very talented guy. And I think, again, it's like TTB, how do they do it? Right? Ephraim is not feeling well and up to traveling, and they can bring in a quality musician to jump in the fold there. I mean, that's just spectacular. I mean, he did a great job. I don't know if that might have been his last show. Hopefully Ephraim's back when they, as we've said, I guess Sun, Sand, and Soul is supposedly, as of now, their next official full band gig. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone knows TTB. Obviously, they're not a top 40 band. They don't have this. More people know Taylor Swift than know TTB. But if you talk to anyone who's a musician who plays blues or rock or this kind of music that this band plays, whether it's like a professional, whether it's like some up and comer in LA, everyone knows Derek and Susan and TTB, who they're like within the music industry and within like professional and aspirational musicians. Everyone in this genre, within the genres, everyone knows TTB.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me that that he's a fan.
Yeah, for sure.
They're all fans. They're fans of the band. Even I can't help but think about like talking to Kebby, like when I interviewed him and was lucky to do that, there were moments where I was feeling like I was talking to one of you guys, like, oh, I'm just talking to another fan who loves Tedeschi Trucks Band's music, which is such a cool thing.
That's awesome. Did Nug show Elizabeth dancing at all? She's just so.
Yeah, we got it all.
She grooves so much, her and Mark always are so into, what's going on. I mean, Falcon and Isaac, obviously they had Idle Wind for drums and on Soul Sacrifice, and they had I think they had another drum section in there. I mean, just incredible, And Gabe, the organ, and I mean, God, it's just the perfect package. I mean, absolutely stellar. Susan's guitar playing just keeps getting better and better, and hopefully, as you might have said, Doug's got, you get those facial expressions of Derek when Susan's on lead, and he's just, making these just great faces. And they talked a minute, and I thought Susan was going to pull out again to ask Derek to talk into the mic. I thought that was maybe going to happen again, like it did at the Fox last year. They were talking a little bit, and Derek was saying, I thought she might try to put him on the spot again. Did you ever listen to that, Adam, or no? You didn't get to that yet?
Where was that? Was
I sent
where,
you?
Where was that?
I sent you that thing on YouTube about last year when she told, she said, "You talk to the people, honey." No, you haven't seen that.
You told me about that. I guess I haven't seen it. I have to dig that up.
That was classic. So I thought we might be getting another moment like that when they were chatting a little bit back and forth. I noticed also we took the tour. Somebody noticed on the top of Derek's amp, he's got, I think, 2 baseball cards of his great uncle that pitched in the major leagues. He's got
Virgil.
On top of his amp or something. That was kind of cool. We got to kind of see that. It was really cool. I was saying that we got to kind of walk out on stage and Bobby's doing, and it just, for me, like I said, I've seen so many great acts in that to actually just kind of stand on the stage and look out and see, what a musician sees was so cool to be in my hometown. And so excited that we had not ever done that backstage, the stage thing with Bobby or whatever. It was so cool to do it in our, home venue, a place that we've just seen so many big shows at, that was just a special thing. I would highly recommend, people doing it once. It certainly isn't inexpensive, but Bobby does a great job. The other couple was very technical. They knew, they were asking a lot of technical questions, and they got into that. And I thought it was just a great thing to do, once for sure.
I'm looking at Virgil Trucks' stats. He was a pretty damn good pitcher and had a long career. Damn. From 41 to 58.
Wow. Well,
less hits than innings pitched. Some good numbers.
Hey, Derek, he's got a tribute to him. He's got something on there. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did see a bottle of Ass Pocket whiskey up there Friday night. I didn't catch one up there Saturday night.
Yeah, that's what Suzanne was saying. No Ass Pocket whiskey on Saturday.
I love it. So
it's sold out. It's not available for sale at the moment. I did go on the website the other day. Correct?
Well, it is. Yeah, I did not pull the trigger quick enough, but I do have to say, one of my dear Swamp family sent me a bottle. So nice. I have one now, and I haven't opened it. I have a special buddy that I always drink we always are bourbon buddies. So I'm holding that for the next time I see him, and we will crack it open together. And he's a fellow that I actually turned on to TTB. I may have mentioned him recently. And he plays guitar and stuff, and so he's now
nice.
ETB twice, and so I'm holding that bottle for the next time he and I get together, and we're gonna sip on that together.
Well, with the band having an extended period of time off, I'm sure I'm gonna have time to do all sorts of episodes and interviews and deep dives on all kinds of stuff. So I'll do an episode where I do my own taste test, review, recap. I'll do that live on a stream or something like that.
Well, maybe
I'll go through the whole bottle
there to do it with you.
Yeah. No, they'll hear from me, everyone in that band, within the next period of time for sure. No excuses now. You guys have some time off. You could definitely carve out some time for little old me. We'll see. I'll keep on the grind with that and check off each box for each member. At some point we'll get that done, I hope.
I think Bradley's up for another
yeah, I should. I think he posted on his Instagram. I think he had these socks that had DMSR written on them or something, like some kind of custom print socks or something.
Wow.
I don't know if you caught that.
No, I've not.
Yeah, let me see if I could pull that up or something. I'll look up that later. But yeah, good stuff all around, guys. Anything else you want to mention, cover, talk about? I appreciate the time and the recap and all that. Sounds like an amazing. It wasn't. I saw it. It was an amazing couple of shows.
Yeah, it was.
Just glad to be included with y'all tonight, and good to visit with you, David.
Don, I'm so glad that I didn't know you were there. I hadn't checked my messenger, so I didn't realize that you had sent me a note. And so to see you after the show Friday night was awesome.
It was a real. We decided Thursday to come.
So glad. I'm so glad. Always great to see you. I went to Kebby's, Music in the Park today. I
saw.
If you want to chat about that at all, Adam, but it was.
Oh yeah, tell me about that. They were playing in the street. They were playing in front of a church. They're playing in front of the stores.
I tell you, Kebby, he's a saint to the city of Atlanta. He really is. His love and dedication to music and for kids and just all kinds of people.
It's off the charts. It's literally off the charts how much that guy loves to spread music knowledge and education, especially to kids, and his passion for playing music and playing it anywhere at any time with anyone at all hours of the day. it's like wild how much that guy is his passion.
Just spectacular. And I have to say, you know, I mean, we were exhausted, and I mean, we were out very late both nights, and, you know, happily. But then, you know, then today, this was coming up, and Ann, she waved the white flag. So I had to go solo today. She was not up for it. And, I mean, it went from, I'd say let's say 1 to 6, maybe even a little after that. And I got out there I think I got about 1:30, and they block off like one street, and it goes for 5 blocks or whatever. And really, this kind of the stage it's not really a stage; it's just on the ground, whatever. And they just set up in front of, you know, like you said, a church. There's a gallery that they're set up in front of there, another one. And you just walk down the street, and there's different music going on, and the love that TTB showed for Kebby today. So Kebby's been doing this for years, and he puts it on and does great work. And, you know, usually TTB's not in town when he's doing it. So obviously they were in town for the shows, and almost everybody from the band was there, either playing or supporting him. Almost everybody from the crew was out there. And it was, I mean, a gorgeous day. It was probably around 70 or so degrees. Beautiful day here in Atlanta. And a lot of people ride their bicycles up and down the street there and everything. And I was just walking, and we caught, so there was a set with Gabe, and since he didn't have his trio, Brandon sat in on bass and Isaac on drums. The three of them did about a, 30, 40-minute set just on the street. I mean, it's literally, you know, he's got a piano just like on the street there. And
I got a picture of it right here.
They did a set. I mean, it was awesome. And he even did his version of Tangled Up in Blue. And, you know, his solo stuff, and it was amazing. Some other local people, Tyler Neal, Cody Matlock, they were playing, and then Isaac had a group that he put together, and they play. Oh, and Kebby came out and did he's running all over, so he's up and down, he's everywhere. He came over and did like a 1-minute sax solo during Gabe's set, and then he was off somewhere else. And then about an hour or so later, Isaac had a group with Brandon on bass, Isaac vocals and drum, Cody Matlock, a young guy here who's amazing on guitar, and then they had a trombone player. And they had a groove going. That was the one that was kind of in front of what looked like a church. I think you might have seen Adam. And they had a groove going. They had a huge crowd. They were a little bit later in the day. And when they played, I think I must have seen 4 other TTB members standing around watching. And a half dozen crew members were all out there digging. Yeah, there you go.
I'm stealing people's picks here.
I mean, look at that. I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, this is just out on the street. Yeah, I mean, this is the street in front of these shops, and so I was getting tired, and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna walk back to my car, and they have a parade. There's Bradley taking pictures. You see Bradley? Yep. So I was getting tired. And I said, okay, I'm going to walk back to my car. And they're supposed to they finish with a parade and then a battle of the drum lines. And so I'm walking back to my car exhausted. And lo and behold, the parade starts. And I'm like, oh, heck, I'm not leaving now. Are you kidding? So each one of the drum lines comes down and then behind that Kebby and all the musicians that are there that day are walking down the street. All the horn players are playing. They've got like a little bit of a flatbed, and they've got drums on there, some percussions. Brandon on the bass was sitting there, and they're all just coming down the middle of the street, you know, playing music. And everybody's walking along, either dancing or, you know, filming with their camera or taking pictures, and it just, I mean, you know, they go for, I don't know, 5 blocks or whatever. And it's just, I mean, just amazing. Everybody having a great time, everybody supporting him. And then the drum lines go into this little park, and then they kind of set up, and you get like in a half moon, and each drum line gets like 15 minute slot. And I guess I ended up leaving. It got dark about 6. I listened to all 5 of them, and I didn't hear who the winner was. So maybe we can find out who but as I was walking out, there was a couple of kids from Tucker High School, and I saw them in their uniforms. And I said, "You guys were great." He goes, "Do you think we were the best?" And I said, "You got my vote." I said, "There were the last group I thought was really close to you guys, but I thought you guys were the best." He said they were like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And it was just, and I walked back to my car. It was already dark by the time I got home at, we started this at 7. I got home at 6:40, Adam, after being down there for almost 6 hours.
Yeah, you must be exhausted.
It was spectacular. But I mean, look at this. You just had, I mean, it was crazy. Elizabeth was in the parade playing her, you know, her trombone, Brandon bass, Gabe was walking in the parade. Isaac was in the parade. I mean, the support that the band gave him was incredible. And again, it was really all about these young kids, the high school kids that were the drum line, you know, and he does just a lot of giving back to the young people of Atlanta to encourage, you know, music to the young people. And it was beautiful. It really was, it was a spectacular day. And these guys had to be exhausted after 2 nights of.
I'm exhausted just hearing about like this whole weekend of music. I feel like I was there, and that's like why I'm doing this, to live vicariously through you guys. Music in the Park, definitely check out their Instagram and their Facebook stories. They have, like, you can really, going through all of the Music in the Park Instagram stories and Kebby stories, you can really see like what it felt like to be there, because you see him walking down the street carrying the sax. Basically everything you described, like you can see the pictures of the flatbeds, the young people, the marching, the you know, the playing in the street and all that. Here's a comment from David Boyce. I was introduced to TTB by baseball writer Peter Gammons, who I know is a big TTB fan.
Oh, really?
Based out of New England. I met him once. He was with Susan's dad and is a big music fan, called Susan Rock's best singer.
I didn't know Peter Gammons was a fan.
Yeah, he's a guitar player. He plays guitar also, from what I understand.
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, he's a big TTB fan. I found that those the Bradley socks I was mentioning before, they're not DMSR socks, but kind of, sort of, sex, drugs, and lobster rolls.
Sex, drugs,
which is obviously the big thing with Susan, and then they love the lobster rolls.
That's a New England thing, huh? Yeah. I like that. Last day of tour socks. That's great. That's great. Yeah, and Bradley was out there. He was working his tail off. I mean, he was out there taking pictures. You know, the whole time I was there, I saw he was taking pictures of, you know, different bands, and I think he walked with the whole parade, you know, and was taking pictures and stuff, and just saw so many local Atlanta musicians that I've seen, you know, at some of the blues clubs here, and just the outpouring of all the musicians here for Kebby, and you know what he's doing for the young people of Atlanta. It was just beautiful, beautiful. I was so glad I did it. I was so glad to power through it. You know, it was
definitely.
It was a lot of fun. So that was beautiful.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time and everything. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Any parting words or anything from either of you guys? I'll give you the floor.
Looking forward to Destin.
Oh yeah, you're going to that too.
Looking at
Sunset
it,
Soul.
strong, yeah.
You didn't go last year. You didn't go. Did you, Don?
We didn't. We
Okay.
we had reservations actually in Destin the next weekend, and
Well,
just
definitely
change those.
let me know if you're coming because I'd love to. We'll get together for sure.
All right, Jay.
So
look forward to it.
We would love to. Yeah.
Well,
And we're trying to get Adam to go, but he's
we'll see.
He's tethered to the the podcast. He can't move too far away from there.
We'll see. I'm gonna try. We got some time. Well, when there's a will, there's a way.
Oh,
do my best. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Don.
got a good service. Happy holidays, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Talk soon, guys. Later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Peace. So there you go. What was that? Episode 181, recapping TTB at Atlanta at the Fox Theater. Thank you, David. Thank you, Don. Good stuff all around. What a couple of spectacular shows. Thank you. Thank you, Nugs, for streaming them. Just excellent streams all around. Hope everyone's doing okay. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, whichever way you listen, and on YouTube, of course. Patreon.com/TTB podcast to support. TedeschiTrucksPodcast.com for everything related to the show. AdamTroit.com for everything else that I'm working on. TedeschiTrucksBand.com for everything the band is doing. Maybe tickets to next year might be available. Is that that's where we're headed? Definitely buy merch, support the band. Sign up for the Swamp Family app. Download that. Thank you to the band, fans, crew, podcast supporters, guests. I appreciate everyone. But I think that's about all I got for today. Thank you again. More episodes coming soon. Just because the band is on a break, I won't be on a break. I'll definitely keep pumping out new episodes and deep dives. Reach out if you have ideas for episodes or things like that. Definitely going to keep things going on my end too. But everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Sunday night for probably most of you guys now. Yeah, let's talk soon. Later.